Welcome to the Wednesday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Wednesday morning. How's it going? Hey, hi Heat, hi Memias, how's it going? I do see that you have a green name now. So excited, nice. What happened? I'm so excited your name went from so excited that your name went from red to green exactly. Hey Gaming Mind, how's it going? I found where you can do custom badges too. Ooh. For your Twitch name? Howdy howdy. I have the 100 cheer badge now. Nice. Oh, how do you do that? Is it in chat settings? Clear my chat. No, I don't want to clear my chat. I clicked my VIP badge. Oh. Howdy. Okay, so... in the chat text box? Ban a difficult truth. Okay. Well, I mean, I could ban myself. You can you can clear the chat in Streamlabs. Yeah. This, how's it going, Waxing Philosophical? Yeah, you see where you type click whatever badge is next to your text. Yeah, it just asked me to gift more subs. Huh. Maybe I have to do it in other chats. Chat appearance. Oh no, that's how I appear. Okay. Maybe it's something to do with, like, for example, if I'm in another chat, if I'm in somebody else's chat, I can choose my my badges and stuff. You know, the one that I really wanted was the little dinosaur one. Probably because you have a lot going on as a streamer right now. Maybe. Let's see. Yeah, I see the little badges. It says broadcaster and subscriber. Yeah, I don't know. I think you have to do it in somebody else's chat. Maybe. Chat appearance? No, I already clicked on that. Come to my chat on Saturday? Sure. When do you plan to stream again? Review recent raids? No. No. Switch to mod settings. Oh, right after? Okay. I mean, we could just flow right in. I'll just raid after we're done. I mean, make me do it. I keep putting it off. Well, if you stream on Saturday, we will raid you. Okay. Reward queue. That would be totally awesome. Yeah, of course. That's right, everybody go follow Heat420 underscore, twitch.tv/Heat420 underscore. I think we got all of these complete. Yep. Thank you, Waxing Philosophical. I'll try and see what happens when I'm in another chat. Alright folks, we do have a couple of headlines to go through. So I think we should get some of those started. And let's keep BSing. I like BSing. I like BSing. Don't get me wrong. Hey KTS Shine, how's it going? Don't get me wrong. We usually spend a nice little chunk in the beginning for BSing. Let's see here. Alright, so this one I failed to do for a while, so let's just get this one through. This wonderful fellow was caught by police. An apparent neo-Nazi in Texas has been arrested for planning a mass shooting at Walmart, police said on Sunday. Coleman Blevins, 28, was arrested in Friday in Kerrville, about 70 miles northwest of San Antonio, after investigators intercepted a message indicating he planned to carry out a mass shooting with a specific threat that included Walmart. Why Walmart though? That's weird. Investigators from the sheriff's office had made contact with Blevins and confirmed his affiliation and networking with extremist ideologies, and determined he was capable of following through with the threat, so they moved immediately to arrest him. Jesus Christ. The sheriff's office posted an image of Blevins and evidence they found after a search warrant of his home. Items found in Blevins' home included flags depicting the swastika and other Nazi symbols and extremist books like the Turner Diaries. I mean, this is Nazi bingo, which was written by the leader of the Neo-Nazi National Alliance, according to the Anti-Defamation League. Firearms, ammunition, electronic evidence, concentrated THC. I don't know what this means or why that's whatever. Radical ideology paraphernalia, including books, flags, and handwritten documents, were also seized. Yeah, I mean, here you go. Yikes. Lots of people. Why do you think mass shootings slow down during the quarantine? I mean, true. Blevins is currently on a felony probation and is prohibited from possessing firearms. Yikes. He was booked into the Kirk County Jail on arrest warrant for terroristic threats to create public fear of serious bodily injury, and is being held on a $250,000 bond. The week-long probe included the Sheriff's Office Special Operations Division, the Texas Department of Public Safety, FBI, and Secret Service. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this guy, whew. Oh boy. This case reminds us that we always need to be vigilant. Anything that it can't happen here and was well on the way to happening. Like, that also makes me think, like, how many of these incidents, like, do we see? How many of these incidents actually exist? I'm sure they can't report on each and every one of them. But, like, how many of these incidents, like, exist? Where they stop somebody from potentially creating another mass shooting or attack, terrorist attack. This case reminds us that we always need to be vigilant. Ah, yes. Our investigators did outstanding work in this case and possibly saved many lives. The plot interrupted in this case is unthinkable. We'd like to remind the public, if you see something, say something. True. True. Very true. Yikes. Well, another one bites the dust. This guy's definitely not, this guy's definitely going to be in jail for quite some time. I'm wondering why he specifically targeted the Walmart. That's the only thing that I don't get. But then again, it doesn't have to be logical. Doesn't have to be logical. Yeah, so when we see like the FBI's reports and why they made the determination that in terms of persistence and lethality, the far right is miles ahead in terms of any type of group when it comes to like the domestic terrorism stuff. They are more willing, more capable, and more lethal. And I mean, there's a reason why that happened. Too many rednecks, Walmarts, and Sam Clubs are the most important places in their town. Yeah, but like, I guess like in terms of like densely populated areas, is that why this person was targeting that? Because they know like if they hit up their local Walmart, there's a lot of people there to inflict mass damage. Dems have lost a few elections because Republicans knew to have town halls in the middle of Sam's Clubs. What? No way. Oh, by the way, folks, the special race that was going on, yeah, the Democratic candidate won. Big surprise. The Democratic candidate won comfortably in yesterday's special elections to replace the person who went to the Biden cabinet, I believe. So yeah, the article that we read yesterday about how that's going to be a test of the effectiveness of Democrats' messaging or platform or whatever, it's not the case. I mean, why would you do that? Why would you say a very strongly Democratic held area is going to be a test of your messaging? We knew that this person was 99% a chance gonna win. I'm exaggerating, but you get the point. It was incredibly probable that the Democratic candidate was going to win no matter what. So why would you say that this is a perfect test for your messaging or your platform or whatever coming into the midterms of 20? This is dangerous. This is dangerous strategy here. This is this is gonna cost them the midterms. Thinking like this. Thinking in this manner is gonna cost them the midterms. Yeah, which KTS, that's kind of a weird target. If, I don't know. Doesn't make sense unless like the only thing that he was thinking about is how to target as many people as possible. I don't know. Here we have our good friend. Our good friend Ted Cruz.
Over vaccine passport rages across the country. 12 states are currently banning or limiting vaccine passports. And our next guest wants to make this standard across the country. Here with more Republican Senator from Texas, Ted Cruz.
It's basically the
Senator,
Empire State Building of his area.
Steve,
True.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
You're worried that people will be discriminated against.
So, okay, first of all, the framing of that question. Hold on. Wait. First of all, there's no debate about vaccine passports, okay? That debate exists solely in their head, okay? That debate exists solely in their head. There's been numerous times, and we can, shall I say, circle back at many multiple press conferences where Jen Psaki is clear that there will be no mandatory vaccine passports, okay? The federal government, at least on the federal level, is not going to require vaccine passports. Okay? They've said this multiple times, and yet the debate still exists in their head. Hey, 18-wheel dragon, Dems are the best at losing. I mean, yeah, true. Ted Cruz needs to retire. True. He needs to lose. Howdy, Alio. Everybody go to twitch.tv/AlioShare. Make sure you give him a follow. Yeah, this conversation is only happening in their head because there is no federal mandate. There's no, like, government plan requirement saying that there will be a mandatory vaccine passport. That's not a thing, okay? Individual companies may require you to you know, be fully vaccinated. For example, cruise ships may require you to be fully vaccinated. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Schools may be required for you to be vaccinated. Yeah, that makes sense. Businesses may require, especially if they're like, I don't know, like a Walmart or like a Walmart or like a grocery store, may require you to be fully vaccinated or wear masks. I mean, like, a difficult true channel has points, ads, and biddies. True. Oh wait, your channel, you got ads and biddies? What does freedom even mean if I can't infect people on purpose? Anyway. Anyone making arguments about vaccine passports are a constitutional issue either don't understand the constitutional law or making bad faith arguments to fuel fear of government overreach. Yeah, it's well, yeah, it's probably both. Hold on, folks. Yeah, that's true. Spread it forward. Hey, how's it going? Ooh. Yikes. Alright. Chilling, hoping the stream is going good. Yeah, it should. It's going great. We just had, we were just momentarily interrupted by the kitty cat who wanted to, wanted to leave. Thank you so much for the follow, Big-Headed Sam? Big-Headed Sam, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Howdy. Alright, so... Alright, yeah, this guy's like basically fighting a ghost. This isn't a thing.
Based on whether or not they've had the vaccine.
Look, that's exactly right. Listen, I think vaccines are terrific. I've had the vaccine myself. I think it's given us a lot of freedom. But I think there's a real potential for government overreach.
Wait. 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 Vaccines are yum. True. Oops, my kid woke up. Had to get her situated. No worries. Is 90% completed? Nice. Nice. You're almost there, friend. So wait. wait. Is Ted Cruz just admitting that vaccines actually give you more freedom? Because, hey, look at that. You can actually participate in society without being a vector for this pandemic. And you get the freedom to not need masks. You get the freedom to not be infected with you get the freedom to not be infected with COVID. You get the freedom of protecting yourself and others. Content warning, Ted Cruz, true. I mean, like, Ted Cruz, you know, I don't know. I think he understands what he's doing. He just admitted it, that actually, hey, Chai Bureaucrat, how's it going? He just admitted that vaccines give you more freedom. That's the whole point of this thing, right? That's the whole point. Vaccines give you freedom. Yeah, content warning.
And I don't believe anyone should be forced to take the vaccine. It should be your personal choice. You should make the choice.
Interesting. So, okay. Here we have a couple of things. Interesting. So, I think that vaccines give you freedom. Okay. I mean, that's true. He's admitting it. But he's worried that people may discriminate against people who don't have the vaccines. So, I have a question here. Do people that do schools, which are public schools, private schools, that have that require vaccination records for your kid to be in there, are those like discriminatory? Are those discriminatory, or is it maybe perhaps a public health concern? Maybe it's a public health concern. Do institutions, do private businesses, who are attempting to protect not only their customers, but their business, are those quote unquote discriminatory practices? Not really. So, just to be clear, people who are unvaccinated aren't a protected class. Okay? People who are unvaccinated are not a protected class. They are discriminatory? Nope. No, sir. No, sir. And second of all, there's no wait. So first of all, and second of all, there's no federal mandate requiring you to have vaccines. Okay. So Antiva, that's right.
Based on your health, based on the decisions you want. And so I've introduced this week legislation that
oh yeah. And all of a sudden, can we rewind that for a second?
And so I've introduced personal choice. You should make the choice based on your health, based on the decisions you should be forced to take the vaccine. It should be your personal choice. You should.
Oh, okay. So you agree. Hey Doc, how's it going? So you agree that it's your body, your choice, Mr. Cruz? You agree that it's your body, your choice? Huh. That's weird. Oh, that's so weird. How that kind of flips it around. Ah, it's so weird. Yeah, that's right, but he's a man.
Should make the choice based on your health, based on the decisions you want.
Yeah,
and
wow.
So I've introduced this week
wow.
legislation that would, number one, prohibit any federal vaccine passport, prohibit the Biden administration from doing anything to mandate vaccines, but it also
The Biden administration and private companies are working to develop a standard vaccine passport that could be used as a country tries to... Oh, so these are possibilities. Where's the vaccine mandate? I've been watching The Handmaid's Tale for a laugh and predict our future. Where is the federal mandate? Oh, you know what? Here we go. Oh yeah, hey, here's... from Fox News themselves. Fox Digital TV. Yeah, this is from a local Fox channel. Yes, Ted Cruz got the vaccine. Right, if people should have the if people should have the freedom to not get the vaccine, then businesses should have the freedom to refuse service to people who aren't vaccinated. Citizens United is a Supreme Court decision saying corporations are people. True. I mean, yeah, if you want to play that game, true. Yeah, I mean, there you go. From Fox, from a local Fox subsidiary. So, in other words, you're trying to like provide a solution to a problem that doesn't exist. This discourse, this supposed vaccine passport debate, doesn't exist. Okay, that's just you, buddy. You're making this up. Okay, you're making this up.
Also prohibits discrimination in employment. We're seeing some places where employers are saying if you're not vaccinated, you're fired. And
yeah, companies have, well, I mean, using their logic, companies have the ability to choose what happens within their parameters, right? A company, you're basically saying the opposite of what you claim to believe. Now, all of a sudden, you want to make sure, all of a sudden, you want to deploy state power against a private company, but only when it's convenient, right? Lay off the private sector. Lay off the private sector unless hey, Memo. Right, sounds like the communism. Suddenly, now ours care about working at will working states? Yeah, no, they don't. They don't. Of course they all did, with the exception of our friend Rand Paul, who is refusing to get vaccinated because of reasons.
That ought to be illegal. Your health decisions are yours to make, and it shouldn't be.
I know, wow, I know, Ted Cruz. That's kind of weird, because isn't your state banning Isn't your state making one of the harshest abortion bans? Huh. That's weird. That's so weird. That's so weird. Health decisions are yours to make unless you're a woman. Damn, that's so weird. And second of all, no, again, there's no federal mandate. The Biden administration isn't going to... there's no goon squad going around holding people down and forcing them to get vaccinated, okay? Jesus Christ.
Your boss, it shouldn't be the government, it shouldn't be anyone else forcing...
That's so interesting. That's... You know, the cognitive dissonance, the double think here is just amazing. Amazing to me.
You to make those decisions.
Senator, we have heard from Joe Biden things like, you know, we're not going to require a vaccine passport at this point. Is this something that could actually wind up passing with bipartisan support?
So here he admits that it doesn't exist. He admits that the actual policy doesn't exist. So now the question becomes, oh well, is it possible that this could pass by a bipartisanship manner? First of all, what bipartisanship what bipartisanship are you talking about?
You know, I hope so, and we'll see. I mean, this is a very divided Congress, so bipartisan support is elusive these days. But Joe Biden has said the federal government is not going to require a vaccine passport. And
okay, great. So again, the double think here. He just said that the Biden administration isn't going to implement. It's coming right out of his mouth in the same breath. We're a minute and a half, in the same minute. He says, oh, well, we need to make sure that government isn't overreaching, but also we need to control what private corporations do, what private corporations can and cannot do. We need to do those two things simultaneously, and also, none of this is actually happening, but here's the solution to that problem anyways. What? Yeah, this is completely in their head. This isn't happening. This conversation is only happening in their minds.
And so if he believes that, if Democrats believe that, they ought to be able to support this bill. This bill builds on existing civil rights laws.
What?
And it simply adds your health decision of whether or not to get this vaccine to the protected classes that cannot be discriminated.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, unvaccinated people are definitely the same. Unvaccinated people are definitely a protected class that need to be led. Oh my god. This is beyond. This is beyond. So, I mean, like, by this logic, then, like, nobody technically should have any type of incentive to get any type of vaccine. Wait, what? So, there is no federal mandate against any type of vaccine, to my knowledge. The federal government, for any type of vaccine, even like the basic ones that everybody gets, I don't think that there's been ever a federal mandate requiring you to have this. However, there are things you cannot do. There are things you cannot do if you don't have these vaccines. It turns out, and I know this is a meme, but it turns out we live in a society. Okay? And if you want to participate in said society, you have to, do certain things. If you want to participate in society, it turns out you have to pay taxes. If you want to participate in society and keep public health in order, you gotta have certain vaccines. Okay? That's it. I mean, sure, if you don't want the vaccine, and you don't want to wear masks, hey, guess what? You can't go on cruises. You can't enter certain businesses. Your employer may require you to stay home, or, you know, to be honest, you cannot really participate. Well, I mean, you know what I mean. You know what I mean, big-headed Sam. You can't go on airplanes. You can't ride public transportation. I mean, but like we live in a society, guys. Protections for unvaxxed while they are stripping away abortion rights. Gotta love conservatives. True. Yeah, no, it's like it's this logic that isn't. It doesn't make any type of sense. My body, my choice, except for women, and just making up these arguments in their head. They're like fighting ghosts.
Against.
Right.
It also ensures privacy. It ensures that your medical privacy is protected, that you can't be forced to disclose information against your will.
All right. And
why does that never come up when it comes to like why does that never come up when you have situations where, you know, your kid is going to school, you're registering your kid, and they're like, hey, does your kid have X, Y, and Z vaccine? Like, is that a violation of privacy? Or is it maybe a public health concern to the other kids? That's right, Memo. Wait. Florida has inspections for genitalia? Can you post that link? Oh my god. Yeah, and this fucker's up here talking about medical privacy. Yeah, these people say one thing and mean the other. They don't care. High school sports law? This is in Florida? Yeah, this all, based on biological sex. It is backwards? Yeah, no, I'm just trying to read where, like, we need Bugs Bunny to take a big song cut Florida. Wait, yeah, I was about to say, wait, no. We can compare ass backwardness. Multiple polls have stated more than 60% of Americans believe that biological males should not be participating in women's sports. I mean, like, the thing that would really be like the icing on the cake is like, I'm trying to find where they do like highlights of SB 1028, numerous long-term benefits. Run swimming lessons, okay. Sam's from Croatia. Oh, interesting. Me and you in the green team. Charter school. Is this like about charter schools? Is this about charter schools? Is that the real reason? I mean, like, my question at the end of the day would be like, is this even a thing? Or is this just another manufactured problem that, you know, doesn't exist? I have to see the statistics on this. What I'm really disturbed about is like, what I'm really disturbed about is, how do they enforce this? And are there really genitalia checks? I see. So they do have to provide some type of like physician they do have to provide some physician proof, which I thought was medical privacy. Or does this not? These people are so contradictory. Hey, Bread Crochet. Yeah, they have to provide some type of chromosome DNA test, or a physician's note confirming physical exam, or confirming through a physician's note confirming testosterone levels Um, and you can also, which is important to note, you can also, just to note, you can also opt out of that physical that is required for religious reasons. You can also opt out. You can also opt out of that physical for religious reasons. Just saying. Yeah, see, like this I feel like this is at the end of the day, like, to protect charter schools. This isn't even about, like, protecting women. Like, charter schools are mentioned here multiple times. It's nothing to do with, like, girls. Uh-huh. In Croatia, we have a thing called, in the Constitution, called appeal to conscience, and it's a way for doctors to avoid abortion, even though it's illegal. It can also be used to avoid military service. Yeah, so I guess it would be like religious reasons, right? Slightly off topic, Pacman did a good interview with Chomsky yesterday. Chomsky gave a breakdown of how he sees the current state of the Republican Party. Interesting. We might take a look at that. Like a coach walks up and says, whoa, 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 pull down your trousers. I need to check things out before you can join my volleyball team. Yeah, I think it's more of like, you have to provide like a physician's note. But, you know, you can use that... but you can opt out by saying that you have like religious reasons or something, you know, just in case you needed that information. Just in case you needed that information, you can you just in case you needed that information, you know. I've come to the conclusion that far-left streamers ban too easily in comparison to far-right streamers. No? It depends? Like, if you're out here just trying to insult people, or call people names, or do things that are against terms of service, you will be banned. You will be banned. And do you know why far-right streamers don't last very long in the platform? Because they allow that nonsense to continue, or break TOS themselves. That's why that happens. Anyways, this is cringe. The more I read this, the more I think it's more about... the more I think it's about charter schools. Who is it, breaking TOS? Well, this person is saying that like far left streamers generally ban quicker than far right people. Well, yeah, because we yeah, it turns out I want to remain on this platform. Whether you consider me far left or not is irrelevant. I want to remain on this platform. So if you break TOS, I will ban you. Right, the stream. Yes, I can get banned for not for not stopping any type of nonsense going on in the chat. There have been streamers who have been banned for not moderating their chat. I consider myself pretty far left, and I definitely agree that far left streamers ban easily. Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the streamer, to be honest. I don't know if it's like I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm wrong. You know what? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm just saying, if you break TOS, or you're being here disrespectful, or you're just here to derail conversations, it's a timeout and a ban. Easy. Easy clap. They're protecting their stream and creating their comments, create a more inclusive community. Yeah, like, that's another thing. Like, at the end of the day, it's like individual streams who allow or not allow certain things. So, I don't know. Maybe you're right, maybe not. I don't know. At the end of the day, it is your stream. Exactly. Correct. Right-wingers are more edgelordy, which is why they allow more BS. Yeah, which gets them in trouble. Which gets them in trouble. Well, myself, I don't want anti-vax or science or pro-Trump in my channel. Yeah, so that's your thing. And you have a right to run your channel however you want. I've seen people get banned for asking, hasn't communism failed enough? Well, it depends on what you mean, but whatever. Exactly, but that's also why I don't watch many streams. The left eats itself over victimhood while the right eats itself over QAnon. If you're an edgy debate lord, I would just ban you. I don't need that shitty energy in my stream. Here's how I handle it. Here's how I handle it, Bread Crochets. It's very, well, for me, it's very simple. Alright? This channel is not a debate channel, okay? I'm not a debate lord. And if there's like, I mean, if you're making comments that are relevant to the things that I'm talking about, I will like respond to you in kind. But if you're like one of those debate me, here's how I short circuit that really quickly. I'll just say, hey, you know what? You want to have a conversation? That's okay. How about you message me? How about you message me in a whisper later? And that solves that problem. That solves that problem. I'll whisper you so hard. Wait, what? Yeah, if you want to have a conversation, sure. But like, if you want to just do a debate lord spectacle blood sports, you're not going to get that here. Okay? It will improve. Yeah, like, again, what is this? I'm telling you, I don't think it's about, like, creating fairness for women, right? I think that's the premise. I think that's the premise of this. But this bill mentions charter schools in multiple occasions here. Yeah, charter schools. Charter schools. Not gonna debate about capitalism. You're denying the fact that leftists ban easily. This is the conversation. Stop derailing it. Well, I mean, maybe you're right. I don't know. Like, I don't know. You would have to have like a overview of data of like who bans faster in different channels. Like, I don't know. It's possible. It's possible that, you know, some lefty streamers, in order for them to protect their stream, they may, like, you know, be a little trigger happy with the ban hammer. It's possible. But I've seen a lot of like right-wing channels also ban people for being lefties. So I don't know. I could do my own anecdote, Andy. Like, I could do my own anecdote, Andy, where I've been on like right-wing channels as a lurker because you have to follow them in order to, so that's kind of funny. you have to follow that channel in order for you to chat in it. So usually I'll just lurk behind the scenes, and I've seen people get banned for being lefties in right-wing channels. So I don't know. I could do like Anecdote Andy too. Hey, Surfer Girl Philly, how's it going? Surfer Girl Gritty. Wait. Interesting. It's obviously anecdotal and right-wingers do ban, but I've been banned from streams like Hassan for nothing. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. People run their channels the way they want, and people run channels differently. People ban people for whoever. So it's, I mean, I'm not going to deny it's possible, but I don't know who, after looking at the overall like trends and data, who would actually be the one who pulls the trigger, who pulls the ban trigger faster. I don't know. All I'm saying is it's possible. It's possible that you're right. Yeah, sometimes you can get banned for just being annoying. True. Wait, what does that mean? Can anybody explain that to me? Oh, it's a Kanye West song? Okay. Oh, with Jay-Z? Oh. Anyways, cringe. And I don't think it's about fairness in women, with women, for women. Oh. Well, I mean, hey, listen. Don't ban me. Yeah, okay, I see the song. Listen, don't break TOS, we're good. Howdy. Alright, let's finish this. Surfer Girl Gritty. Yeah, I was like, Surfer Girl wait. How's it going? Alright, chat. Focus.
In the House today, it sounds like bipartisan groups are going to introduce one piece of legislation that could actually allow Americans to sue China over coronavirus. Any chance that's going to get traction in the Senate?
You know, at least so far.
So there's going to be legislation to allow people to sue China for coronavirus. A foreign country. Yeah. Okie dokie. Good luck.
Far, Senate Democrats have been very reluctant to hold China to account for its role in the spread of COVID-19. We know the Chinese government was directly culpable for the cover-up, for silencing the initial outbreak. You look at the heroic Chinese whistleblowers, doctors, journalists.
It is true that, you know, the transparency was an issue. I need to start streaming again. Hey, I've been off for a few months. Well, that's okay. International courts allow corporations to sue other corporations, but like, how's that going to be a thing? How is that even going to be enforced? I don't understand. Like, this is like useless legislation that doesn't even like necessarily address any meaningful problems here.
Who at the very beginning of this pandemic spoke out, and the Chinese government arrested them. They disappeared them.
Do you remember the TPP debates? No. Was that ever like a thing where was that ever a thing? Was that ever a thing where you could actually do that, like sue a foreign government?
They silenced them.
How would you prove that?
That played a major role in the spread of this pandemic globally. We now are seeing more and more people acknowledging what I have been saying for over a year, that the preponderance of the evidence suggests that this virus escaped, likely accidentally, from a Chinese government.
No, what's happening is that there are questions and circumstantial evidence, not a concrete proof. So we neither have concrete proof of one or the other. What scientists are saying is that we would like to explore that option. That's what they're saying. An international court, don't ask how that would even work. Don't ask how that even would have worked. Oh yeah, hey guys, we know how very strong the ICC has been. Remember the converse of suing other countries came up a year ago, which isn't a great idea because the US will be sued for a lot. Yeah, not only that, like how does that even go? Like it doesn't. I remember like the international court, you know, bringing like indictments and stuff like that, and like the US just being like, meh, no.
Government lab in Wuhan. When I began saying this back in March and April of last year, you know, I do a podcast every week called Verdict with Ted Cruz.
Yeah, I think that they've like taken this like this you know, this scientific like process, right, where they're like, wait a minute, hold on, you know what, we've got a couple of questions here, maybe we should look into it. As aha, we knew it, you know. That's what they're doing. And I went over this even before on the stream. Like, people were saying like, oh yeah, it's definitely this. But like, the reality is like, well, they're just asking to, they're just asking for more answers. That's really what the thing is going on here. Like, I mean, they want to investigate this, okay? Ted is pretending to want war with China to suck up the races. I don't know. I think that this is, you know, sable rattling is
walking through
not good.
The evidence. You know, Wuhan, where this outbreak began, there are not one but two different Chinese government virology labs. I know. Both of them study not just viruses, they study coronaviruses. Not just coronaviruses from bats. One of them...
Okay, so that doesn't mean anything.
The Wuhan Institute of Virology is 400 yards away from the wet market where the first outbreak occurred. Right. I think the most natural conclusion, which the Chinese government does not want anyone to know the facts of.
No, you're reaching those conclusions. You're reaching those conclusions. What they're asking for is the ability to figure out some of the answers to these questions. Fine. Is to impose sanctions or other economic penalties. I don't think that would work with China since the US and many other countries are economically inextricably linked with China. Yeah, true. It doesn't matter if COVID was invented in a lab and then released, it's out in the world and we know how to deal with it. Enabling lawsuits is a distraction from which nothing will come. bottom line is, it doesn't matter how the virus originated. It's here. We need to contain it with masks and vaccines. Yeah, I mean, sure, absolutely, Doc. The question, like, at that point would be, if it is true that, you know, it came from, like, a lab or something like that, then we have questions about how we need to up our safety and up our protocols in terms of, like, labs. That's basically the only thing that would be, that's basically the only reason why we would need to know if it was something to that effect, because we would need to know where safety protocols went wrong. Like, that's it. That's the reason why. Because, like, scientifically, hey, if there was an accident of this sort, we need to know how to prevent it from happening again. That's the only reason why we would need the answers to these questions. Knowing where the virus originated is important to understand how to prevent future outbreaks. Yeah, and if it is, as we, so far the, you know, so far what is the narrative or the accepted consensus is that it's, the consensus is that it's probably zoonotic, in which case we need to study as to how we can deal with this. Our Hangerspace domain. That's right.
Is that the virus escaped accidentally from that Chinese government lab, and
No,
at
we
least
don't
so
know that.
far the Biden administration has been unwilling to dig in and force a real and objective investigation into the facts.
That's also not true. I also saw that the Biden administration is considering that. He's just wrong on all accounts. He's just wrong on all accounts, creating like creating like things in his head for the sake of fear mongering is what sounds like. We just watched like 4 minutes of like Ted Cruz being wrong on like 10 different accounts. If you love it, then you should put a war on it. No, I don't think we should be going to war. We had this discussion already through Memorial Day. There's no need for saber rattling. There's no need for saber rattling. The Biden administration formally entered made a Mexico policy after suspending it earlier this year. Okay. It's a baby step. The Biden administration formally ended the Trump era policy of returning asylum seekers. Asylum seekers to Mexico until their court dates in the United States, according to a memo issued by Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. As Disney Plus celebrates Pride, its parent is hit with sexual orientation discrimination suit. Ooh. Even as Disney's marquee streaming celebrates Pride Month with a prominently positioned carousel of LGBTQ titles on its homepage, the company has found itself at the center of sexual orientation discrimination lawsuits brought by an executive employee. Yikes. Yeah, so, like, I mean, is anybody surprised? Really? This is, like... And I've already gotten, like, a bunch of emails when it comes to, like, Pride Month and things like that from companies. Yeah, of course. They'll put the, you know, Pride flag, Happy Pride Month, buy my stuff, Happy Pride Month, subscribe, Pride, you know, buy my stuff, Happy Pride Month. It's not, they don't necessarily inherently care. I mean, maybe some do, but it's not at the core of it. It's not really that. It's virtue signaling. Really, I don't want to use the word, but you guys get the point. It's effectively virtue signaling because it, you know, they made the decision and the calculus that this is what brings them money. I'm sure that some people at these companies do actually care about LGBTQ rights, but the reality is that's not the reason why they're doing this, right? That's not the reason why, or the sole reason why. All of these companies are putting up the rainbow flag and the rainbow badge. No, they don't. They don't care. It does want its money. Right, right. That is correct. I mean, like, what was it? Something Weekly. Event Weekly? Event Weekly? Hold on. Oh, not if, okay, hold on. Yeah, cool. Nice. Very nice. They really did not think this one through. Yeah, who remembers Occupy Wall Street? And everyone's aware that this was corporations just fucking us. The corporations changed their logo to rainbows and suddenly they're back on our side and we're buying their newest iPhones again. Yeah, this is just like faux, like, I mean, reality is it's faux virtue signaling, right? They don't necessarily inherently care or do like the primary reason why they do this is because it attracts consumers. Okay, that isn't to say social progress isn't bad, but we also have to understand that like a lot of these multinational corporations, all these like big corporations do this because somebody made the decision of saying, hey, wait a minute, this is probably going to bring us more people to buy more stuff or to subscribe to our stuff. So yeah, we're going to make that decision because, like, I mean, that's how a business operates. They make these decisions because it brings them consumers. That's why they make these decisions. The same thing with like Women's Month. The same thing with like with Black History Month, right? That's what it is. It's just like, hey, look at us. See, we're cool, right? How do you do, fellow kids? How do you do, fellow kids? Anyways, buy my stuff, right? Like that's somebody made that decision there to because if it didn't, they wouldn't necessarily make that. Why would they like waste an entire like PR campaign if it wasn't going to bring them a return on investment? Hey Wing, how's it going? The commodification of progressive ideas. That's right. It's like faux virtue signaling. That's what it is. That's what it is. Right, exactly. 1 month we pretend to care about this community or that community, and then we move right on, right? Like, that's not, I mean, it's important to, like, recognize, you know, it's important to recognize these communities, but let's just not get lost in the sauce, you know? It's like, it's not inherently bad, but, like, what are you actually doing? Here, I got you, my friend. Speaking of, like, oh my goodness, holy yikes. Holy yikes. Why not just say that you don't like gay people? We don't need an entire paragraph of religious BS to tell us you're like to show us your bigotry. Right, that's how they excuse it in their heads. That's correct. You don't need to give me a wall of text as to why you're like a bigot. Jesus was a commie, confirmed. Let's not forget the one true holiday month though, Christmas. That's right. Christmas. It's Merry Christmas! Anyways. Yeah, like the Puritans who left England because Christmas wasn't cancelled. Not kidding. I mean, yeah, it's not necessarily... It's a meme, but it's in there. It's true. Biden administration officially ends their Made in Mexico policy after suspending it earlier this year. Hey Memies, how's it going? Shortly after President Biden took office, Department of Homeland Security suspended new enrollments to the program formerly known as Migrant Protection Protocols. The department subsequently kicked off the process of gradually allowing asylum seekers previously subject to the program into the U.S. between February 19th and May 25th. Around 11,200 migrants were processed into the U.S. according to Mayorkas' memo on Tuesday. Mayorkas said he determined that the policy was informally known as the Remain in Mexico policy and had mixed effectiveness. Yeah, first of all, that doesn't make sense. Second of all, we've never done that. We've never said, hey, while we process you, you're gonna have to remain in Mexico, even though, like, you never came from Mexico? I don't get it. All the no fun track left England and came to the US to bring everyone down here and killjoys. Yep. I direct DHS personnel to take all appropriate actions to terminate the MPP, including taking all steps necessary to rescind implementing guidance and other directives or policy guidance issued to implement the program, Mayorkas wrote to the leaders of the 3 DHS immigration agencies. Immigrant advocates applaud the move on Tuesday, calling it a huge victory. The forced return policy was cruel, depraved, illegal, and we are glad that it's finally been rescinded, said Judy Rabinovitz, the ACLU attorney and lead counsel in the case challenging the policy. Under President Trump, migrants from Central America and other parts of the world who were seeking asylum at the U.S.-Mexico border were forced to stay in Mexico until their immigration court hearings in the U.S. and often in dangerous cities. Right, like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, these folks are, like, not from Mexico. Like, why would they send them to another foreign country? Like, this never made sense. An estimated 68,000 migrants were returned to Mexico under the policy, according to DHS. For those subject to the policy, that meant waiting months, if not years, in squalid conditions under the threat of extortion, sexual assault, and kidnapping. Yeah, I will allow that. Axial tilt is the only reason for the season. That's right. Oh no, we took care of that. Doc, we took care of that. We took care of that. Easy clap. Easy clap. To most Americans, there are 3 countries in America: Canada, the US, and Mexico. That's right. Yeah, so anyways, it never made sense from the beginning to send folks that aren't even from Mexico back to Mexico. Second of all, it does put them in danger, which there have been hundreds of cases of of unfortunately some of those folks getting killed. The policy was an unprecedented departure from previous protocols, which allowed for the entry of migrants as they went through their immigration hearings in the US. Yeah, I mean, like, that's how the system was supposed to... Like, we have a process. It's just become, like, so... It's so underfunded, or... I don't know what the word would be, but we don't have the capabilities of handling these asylum processes effectively. So what ends up happening is that these folks stay years, sometimes months, sometimes weeks, depending, waiting for a hearing. And that's indicative that we don't have either enough judges or courts or lawyers or facilities to be able to like process these folks accordingly. So we need to invest in those resources now, right? To be able to, provide asylum and process these asylum seekers accordingly to the law. That's it. That's what needs to be. That's what needs to happen. Instead of sending them back to Mexico, a country that that the majority of them don't like. That they're not Mexican, and putting them in danger. Some of which have been killed, or as the article states, sexually assaulted, kidnapped. They never make it back. Never say we don't have enough lawyers. If anything, we have too many. No, for immigration, whatever it is that we need, whether it be more judges to be able to do the asylum cases, courtrooms, judges, lawyers, so that we can get these folks, processed accordingly. That's it. That's it right there. 68,000 were returned to Mexico when we could have a functioning system. We need simpler immigration, maybe. I don't know how like complex the asylum process is. But the point being is, it's not fair that some folks are waiting years. Okay? It's not fair that some folks are waiting years to get hearings or to go through the process. That's just not... Crossing the border shouldn't be that big of a deal. It used to not be. It used to not be. It used to just be like a civil offense, and yeah, it would just be a civil offense, and then you go back. Crossing the border, right. My wife isn't an American. She currently is going through legal immigration. Yeah, I mean, there you go. Like, there's things that we can do. We don't have enough public attorneys. They have 10 minutes to look at your case. It can take days for you to get representative. Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, for immigration, like, we got to make sure that we can have, like, these things, like, just, done. Not weeks, not years. It is an expensive pain in the ass. Well, maybe it shouldn't be an expensive pain in the ass. I mean, we could have immigration reform. Yes, absolutely. It should not be expensive. You can just show up and bam, you're American? I don't know. Depends. I don't know. I still feel like there should be some type of, like, process, but, like, it shouldn't be like what we have now. Where it costs thousands of dollars. Yikes. Thousands of dollars, and folks, like, have to wait years to just get a hearing? No, that's not how this is. That's not how it is. Most of us are here because of the process. Yeah. half of the countries that these people are leaving from are fucked by them in the first place. Yeah, that's true. There's also the idea, that maybe we should also provide resources to those countries too. Maybe we should provide resources to the South that we've like messed up so bad. Yeah. Yeah, that MS-13 fear-mongering nonsense is true too. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, like, does that sound humane to you folks? Does that sound humane? Does that sound humane? Yeah, I mean, I would be in favor of that. I would be in favor of assisting in, like, building up these countries. Absolutely. I would absolutely be in favor of, like, spending, like, resources to, spending resources to have, like, infrastructure programs, maybe even help them develop green infrastructure programs would be ideal, where they would have, like, energy systems for renewables, maybe have transportation. Yeah, running water not owned by Nestle would be nice too. I mean, yeah. Yeah, there you go. I think we should take responsibility and do what we can to lift these people. Okay? And that also helps with the immigration if you're so concerned. Because, like, people don't just get up and leave their country, right? People just don't do that unless there's, like, some life-threatening, dire situation for you to have to make a journey of thousands of miles, right? It just doesn't happen. And yeah, and it makes people, yeah, exactly. If you invest in trying to in as part of, like, you know, your foreign policy to, like, help build up some of these countries, and especially if you're wanting to try to solve the climate change thing, you kind of need to address that as well. You can say to other nations, hey, we got you. Let us, let us help you build green infrastructure. Let us help you build green energy. There you go. Right. Yeah, exactly. KTS, yeah. TLDR, it's a baby step, but nonetheless a good thing. Nonetheless a good thing that they stopped this. Alright, so, Surfer Girl Gritty posted this article. The complaint, as reported earlier by Deadline, was filed today in the California Superior Court on behalf of television executive Joel Hopkins. The lawyers confirmed to The Verge. Hopkins has been with the company since 1994. The suit alleges that around the time he was promoted to vice president of production finance of Touchstone Television, it became known that Hopkins identified as gay. At this time, despite his tenure and previous promotions within the company, Hopkins experienced an ongoing pattern of discrimination, including but not limited to being passed over for promotions, not being paid at a level commensurate with other department heads, the complaint states. In addition to allegedly being subject to what is characterized as in the suit as unwarranted scrutiny and harassment, he was also allegedly blamed for problems that were not his responsibility, as well as repeatedly overlooked for better opportunities for growth within the company. In some cases, these oversights were egregious to the extent that others with less or no relevant experience were promoted to these roles. He was also allegedly left out of executive meetings and alleges his role in management and other employees was diminished as well. According to the suit, Hopkins made direct and repeated complaints to HR about discrimination, and he had experience, but the HR department and his employers provided no relief whatsoever. Yeah, the HR department in corporations are useless. I'm just gonna say that. HR departments aren't your friends, okay? An HR department would rather get rid of you than to solve a meaningful problem. And I'm not like exaggerating. The majority of HR departments would rather figure out a way to get rid of you than to solve the problem itself. Yes, I am a Florida man. That's right. The HR protects the company, not the workers. Yeah, that's clear. That's clear. After his sexual orientation became known to his superiors and after being discriminated against, after being put on a dead-end career track and repeatedly denied promotions with no remedy or relief from HR, plaintiff is informed and believes that yet again in or around April of 2021, several promotions occurred, but plaintiff once again was not promoted. Plaintiff is informed and believes that these promotions occurred despite representations that Disney was hurting financially and was not promoting. The complaint was brought under the California Fair Employment and Housing Act, which bars workplace discrimination on the basis of, among other things, sexual orientation. The suit seeks compensatory damages for lost benefits and wages, as well as medical expenses and emotional distress. It also seeks punitive damages at an amount appropriate to punish defendants and to deter others engaging in similar conduct for all causes of action in which such damages are recoverable. Yeah, these are the same people who put we care about the LGBTQ community and put the little rainbow flag on their logo. A spokesperson for Disney did not immediately return a request for comment. Neither Riverside Television Services or ABC Signature Studios, which are also named as plaintiffs in the suit, immediately returned requests for comment. While the Walt Disney Company is being sued over allegations of sexual orientation discrimination at the corporate level, its tentpole streaming service has made Pride Month a key focus of content curation on its homepage. Yeah, like, there you go. This is about as much effort as they will do to this is about as much effort they will do for the LGBTQ community is just curate their streaming content and put the rainbow flag on their logo and say Happy Pride Month, and that's it. But in reality, what their actions do, I mean, this guy came out as gay, and once he came out as gay, according to what I'm reading here, all of a sudden, promotions became a problem. He was pushed out of executive meetings. His managerial powers were diminished. I mean, weird. Weird. I just wrote, don't fall into corporate traps. Not everyone is woke. Yeah, like, I don't even, like, what does that mean? Just, hey, join ADT's server. Yes, that's also true. gay people better? I mean, like, I don't know. It's just like the point of this entire article is to like illustrate the hypocrisy or like the blatant faux virtue signaling that these corporations will do, but in reality underneath they're quite comfortable allowing discrimination to happen, you know. But hey, they put a little happy Pride Month and a little they put a little happy Pride Month thing, and that's it. Hey, they did it. Awesome. Nice job, guys. Disney Plus is the company's crown jewel and arguably its most consumer-facing product at present. Yeah, that kind of takes the mask under off, doesn't it? Right? Reason why they're pushing that and saying, "Oh, look at that! Look how awesome we are! Subscribe to our stuff. See? We said happy Pride Month. Subscribe to our stuff." Like, no, dudes. There's a case going against you for discriminating against a gay person. Not cool. Okay? Not cool. I prefer to be hateful towards people who love in a different manner than me because of God. Yeah, there's unironically people like that, unfortunately. Like, respect human beings. Okay? Holy crap, is it that hard? Is it that hard to just respect people? Like, is it that hard to just respect, like, to respect people and just, you know, leave people alone? Like, what is exactly gained from like, you know, discriminating against, like, a gay person in your company? What is exactly to be gained there? Right? Like, what is exactly to be gained there? Okay? In no way do you have a right to make people's life miserable because they choose to, you know, love differently than you do, or love different people than you do, or whoever. It doesn't matter. Like, why would anybody discriminate against anybody based on, why would anybody be discriminating against anybody on the basis of anything? Just leave people alone, right? It doesn't matter, you know, like, why would you discriminate because of somebody's race or somebody's orientation? It just doesn't make any sense. People arrogant enough to say they think like God, so humble. Yeah. Less males competing for women, I'm all pro-gay. Yikes. That was a kind of cringe comment, my dude. If anyone doesn't know who Gritty is, this should make you chuckle. Oh my god. Okay. I don't know if Joe Manchin is a white supremacist, but he's incredibly infuriating. And incredibly, like... He's incredibly infuriating and, like, not interested in bettering this country. He's interested in maintaining his power. It seems like Mr. President Joe Manchin. Have you accepted our Lord and Savior Marx into your heart? He's actively trying to suppress POC voters. I don't know what you need. I mean, if there's like legislation that he's proposing, that's kind of yikes. Oh, Wing. If he's like that, that's kind of yikes. It's not my concern. We love just the 2 adults that are allowed to love. Yeah, like, it doesn't matter. Just leave people alone. If you don't, like, you know, hey, wasn't it, like, oh, like, this is the land of, like, freedom. Okay? I want to be free to love and be as how I am. I do not care. I don't care. The title of Pacman's Chomsky interview yesterday is called Noam Chomsky Destroys Modern Day. Why do people do this? Destroy. Noam Chomsky destroys. I guess it's like a remnant of like Ben Shapiro's titles. Ben Shapiro destroys liberal in college because he debated a college kid and he has media training and they don't. Like, wait, what? He doesn't need to propose anything. He just prevent the H1R1 voter reforms. He just needs to keep the system the same. Yeah, but I don't know if that's like the causation of that. The causation of that doesn't necessarily correlate with him like being like actively like attempting to be a white supremacist, right? I mean, it's cringe. I'm not gonna debate that. It's cringe that he wants to not allow you know, the voter rights bill. That's cringe. That's cringe. And I'm not going to deny that that dude needs to go. Those headlines are trying to sensationalize. Yes, the headlines do the same thing. I got debated yesterday. With that NPR article. I can't stand it. It's annoying. Alright, let's see. First of all, can we find that? Oh no, is it really 1 hour? It's 22 minutes. Oh. Ah.
Phone charge. To welcome to the program today Noam Chomsky, one of the most renowned intellectuals of our time and author of over 25 books, including Chomsky for Activists, Universalizing Resistance. Professor, it's so great having you on today. I appreciate it.
Very pleased to be with you.
So I would love to start by getting your thoughts about how the current state of the American right and the Republican Party got to where it is today. There's this line that is sometimes traced that goes back to anger stemming from the civil rights movement into the Reagan era.
Okay, maybe we might have we might have a we might have a chance. Wait, is Tompkins still alive? Oh yeah. Yeah. So we got about, I think we got like 7 minutes. We got 7 minutes. We can do this, okay? We can do this. So Biden appears to Alright, let's do this, guys. Biden appears to criticize Democrats Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, saying that some members of his party were my Republican friends. Yeah, no kidding. This is an important shift behind the mindset that's happening here, okay? I think that this should be encouraged. This is important. It could hopefully be a turning point into how the Democratic Party is thinking, and it may reorganize itself and get it together. Hopefully. I don't know what the actions will come, but it seems to me like there is a mindset shift. President Joe Biden threw some shade threw some shade at this couple of fellow Democrats on Tuesday, saying he would be able to pass more of his agenda if his party enjoyed a larger majority in Congress and if more of them voted like Democrats. I hear all the folks on TV saying, why doesn't Biden get this done? Well, Biden only has a majority, effectively of 4 votes in the House, a tie in the Senate with 2 members. 2 members of the Senate who vote more with my Republican friends, but we're not giving up. Yeah, Mr. President Joe, which is Mr. Pseudo President Joe Biden, Joe Manchin, and Mrs. Uwu as you know, Uwu dunking on the boards, Kirsten Sinema. I think the Republicans block. I think if the Republicans block the John Lewis Voting Rights Act in the Senate, it will become an inflection point to remove the filibuster. I don't know. I don't know, because like there's also like the conversation, I guess, or discourse, like if they couldn't get bipartisanship support in the most bipartisanship plan laid out, where in terms of, like, for example, investigating, hey Jesse, how's it going? Investigating the January 6th stuff, right? It was the most bipartisanship plan laid out. 5 Republicans, 5 Democrats, both have equal subpoena power, and that failed. So maybe that is what that is the catalyst that shifts the conversation, because I mean, Joe Biden is out here saying like, well, there's 2 members of my Senate, of the Senate, who vote more with my Republican friends. You know, just saying. So maybe that will be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Kinetic pause. Maybe that's the straw that breaks the camel's back. I'm not sure. Even Bernie wants filibuster reform. I mean, like, what do we do at this point? There's no such thing as bipartisanship, okay? They're not interested in talking. They're not interested in doing any type of meaningful legislation to advance this country forward, okay? At this point, like, there's no way.
And June should be a month of action on Capitol Hill. I hear all the folks on TV saying, why doesn't Biden get this done? Well, because Biden only has a majority of effectively 4 votes in the House and a tie in the Senate, with 2 members of the Senate who vote more with my Republican friends.
Just saying. So I think that this is a good shift. I think this is a good shift in terms of rhetoric. I don't know what will come out of it. Who knows? I'm hoping that, like, my whole thing is I want and I hope and I'm pushing for the Democratic Party to just do the right thing, right? Just do the right thing. Do what needs to be done. Make this a better place. Help the people of this country. That's it. Represent the people. They're the ones that elected to you. Letting state anti-voting bills become pervasive is an essential case of democracy. True, and thus a federal rights bill is paramount. True, I agree. Well, we tried, but Republicans... Yeah, that's not gonna fly anymore, though. I don't think that's gonna fly. It's unacceptable. Dems are gonna lose the midterms because they get nothing done. That's a very possible thing. I'm agreeing with you. They're gonna get swept if they don't get it together and they don't realize what's happening, and this wasted effort of bipartisanship and just not getting anything done. No, they'll just simply get swept, and that's it. And then they'll blame the Republicans. You're assuming that it's not what is intended. It won't fly, but that's the only start they have, or no? Yes, the strategy. That's the only strategy they have, or no? Maybe, but that's not working anymore. Okay. That's not working anymore. It's making people angry, and no core issues are being solved whatsoever. We still don't even have a freaking vote on healthcare. Okay, we still don't even have a discourse in Congress on healthcare. Okay, The strategy is to roll over. Yeah, I don't know. Again, that's only gonna fly ever so often. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So we failed. Well, I should say they failed. At one point. Like that's it. I don't know. I think the people are gonna get tired of it at some point. And it's just not gonna it's just not gonna fly with the American people anymore. But who makes them pay? No one. They don't care about losing, it seems. Maybe. I feel like there is shift to terms, shift in rhetoric by Joe Biden actually calling out this problem here. Maybe. We'll see whether or not that translates into action. But it's important, and I want people to take note the shift in language here. I'm just full doomer this morning. I don't blame you. There's lots to be doomer about. So this is good news. Minnesota becomes first state to stop separating moms and their own newborns in prisons. I didn't know that this was even a thing. This is horrifying, and I'm glad Minnesota's stopping this. I think that other states should follow suit. And this is just so bad, especially for the babies who never did anything wrong. Hey, pro-life people over here. Yo, pro-life people should be supporting this, supposedly. That's my secret. I'm always full doomer. This is important, and I'm glad that Minnesota took the step to making this a thing. So, I mean, it's traumatizing for the child, and it does have long-term ramifications, right, for the child. It does have long-term ramifications for the child, and I think that this should be a across the board a thing. I didn't even know that this was happening, right? This is so horrifying. Like, as soon as you give birth, like, they just take away your child. Right, so if we are bringing children into this world, every child deserves a healthy start. That's right. So just to go over this really quickly, I'm completely in favor of this. In fact, I would argue that I'm more pro-life than any of these pro-lifers. Because I actually care about, the lives of these actual newborn children, right? And I care about the lives of women. So yeah, I think that's the actual pro-life position. I was never aware that this was even a thing, and it's horrifying. But I'm glad Minnesota took the initiative to change this, and I hope more states do this. And it should be noted again, get familiar with your state representatives, state senators, local government, and if you have your ability to do petitions, do so, right? Like Florida has the ability to do ballot initiatives. Pay attention if your state allows this. This could be avenues for change, right? And again, baby steps. This isn't necessarily nearly enough, but it is good that Biden suspends oil drilling leases in Alaska's Arctic refuge. The Biden administration on Tuesday suspended oil and gas leases in Alaska's Arctic National Refuge, reversing a drilling program approved by the Trump administration and reviving a political fight over a remote region that is home to polar bears and other wildlife and a rich reserve of oil. Yeah, this is good. The Interior Department order follows a temporary moratorium on oil and gas leases imposed by President Biden in his first day in office. Biden's January 20 executive order suggesting a new environmental review is needed to address this possible legal flaw in the drilling program. approved by the Trump administration under a 2017 law enacted by Congress. After conducting a required review, the Interior said it identified defects in the underlying record of decisions supporting the leases, including the lack of analysis of a reasonable range of alternatives required under the National Environmental Policy Act, bedrock environmental law. In other words, all of this was rescinded after they found out, like, holy crap, yeah, this is bad. Good job, Minnesota. True. So yeah, this is an important step. I suppose it's a baby step, but it's good that they found it. It's good that they figured out that this is a bad idea. Okay, great, excellent. Now we need to continue to encourage this behavior because let's face it, folks, we don't got that much time to begin to turn the ship around in terms of climate change. Okay, this type of behavior is encouraged. However, I'm going to also admit this is nowhere near enough. This is nothing. This is just going back to where we were before. Okay? This is going back to where we were before the Trump era. That's it. That's literally what this is. Let's recognize the reality of it.
Era of being against welfare, through to the Gingrich era of the early 90s and radicalization, and this sort of progression that led to the Trumpian era. How do you see this progression of the last 40, 50 years?
That's a pretty accurate description. It goes back to Richard Nixon, who recognized that the Republican Party could pick up Southern Democratic votes by essentially being a racist party. Didn't put it in those words, of course, but essentially by, in various indirect fashions, making it clear that they opposed the civil rights movement. There had been a solid Democratic bloc of Southern Democrats. They were
right. So just to acknowledge the reality is returning to before the pre-Trump era. Okay, so let's just make sure we acknowledge that reality, but also say, hey, that's not bad.
Republicans have a certain problem of the two political parties. They are the one that
it's not nearly enough. It's not even addressing the real issues, but I want to encourage these type of behaviors.
I want to support the very rich and the corporate world and harm you, so please vote for me. That obviously doesn't work.
No.
So you have to look for other issues, what are called cultural issues, things that are apart from the actual programs of the party. The programs of the party are very clear. Strong support for extreme wealth and corporate power. It's perfectly obvious during the Trump years. The one legislative achievement was a tax bill that benefited the extreme rich and extreme wealth and cutback of corporate taxes, deregulation of sports business, and so on. You can't approach voters that way. So they've had to look for something else. Well, Nixon's Southern strategy was a start. In the mid-1970s, leading Republican strategist Paul Weyrich, who's a Christian nationalist, he realized that if the Republicans pretended to be opposed to abortion, I stress pretended, that they could pick up the huge evangelical vote and make inroads into the Northern Catholic vote. So he proposed that to the party. They all switched on a dime. They had mostly been what we now call pro-choice. When Reagan was governor of California in the 1960s, passed a very strong pro-choice legislation. But in the mid-70s, they all switched entirely. Reagan, George H.W. Bush, the whole slew of them. So they became pretended anti-abortions. Then the next thing was to pick up on gun rights. They're in favor of guns. They don't care one way or another, but that's the way you can pick up more votes. And so it continues. When Reagan came along, the party became pretty openly racist. Reagan himself was a dedicated racist. He wasn't pretending. So he opened his campaign, as you recall, in 1980 in Philadelphia, Mississippi, a town which is known for only one thing. Civil rights workers were murdered there. The Republicans pretended it was an accident, but nobody could miss it.
Yeah.
And then came the stories about welfare queens, black, of course, stealing your money and so on. In fact, Reagan was so racist that he was the last leader in the world to support the apartheid regime in South Africa. At a time when everyone else had left, Thatcher, Israel, everyone, Reagan was still supporting it. In fact, as late as 1988, it was all over by then. The Reagan administration declared the Nelson Mandela's African National Congress to be one of the more notorious terrorist groups in the world. And Mandela himself was on the terrorist list, couldn't visit the United States without special authorization for about 20 years until Congress finally passed some legislation about it. Well, so that's racism. Then comes Gingrich, who reconstructed the Congress, the Republican congressional delegation, so that it became kind of like the old Communist Party. It's a top-down organized. Everyone has to agree. Its role is obstructionist. That became open, not even hidden under Mitch McConnell. When Obama was elected, McConnell came straight out and said, our task is to make sure he can do nothing. We've just seen that again now. McConnell's repeated the same point with Biden. We have to make sure
Jesus, Chomsky.
make the country ungovernable. And meanwhile, the policies of the party have changed as well. So, for example, in John McCain, when he ran in 2008, had a climate change plank in his program. Not very far-reaching, but it was there. And the Republicans in the Senate were considering climate change.
That's a good song.
The Koch brothers, energy conglomerate, had been working for years to ensure that the Republicans would never veer towards recognizing global warming. And they were infuriated. They launched a huge campaign, major juggernaut, bribing senators, threatening them with primary challenges, a huge lobbying campaign, AstroTurf. The Republicans totally changed. From that point on, total climate denial. That's the way it stands today.
And Professor, on that note, I think this is a really important thing, particularly for my audience, which is mostly on the left, to hear. You mentioned John McCain in contrast to some of these other wings of the right. There are some who recently, for example, when Mitt Romney voted to convict Donald Trump on one of those impeachment counts, or when Liz Cheney was removed from Republican leadership simply for saying, listen, Trump won, we have to accept that. There are some on the left who have reacted by saying, fundamentally, these people are no different than the Marjorie Taylor Greens and the most extreme of the Republican Party. While others believe, no, there is an important difference between people like McCain and Romney and those that have taken over the party now. Do you believe that the difference is a materially significant difference?
There's a difference. And McCain had, whatever you think about his policies, I didn't like him, but nevertheless, he was sort of a human being, decent human being in some ways, had some degree of integrity.
Yeah.
That's disappeared from the party. When you look at them now, they're virtually all cowering in terror before the Trump rebel. You can just see it in every act that they make, blocking the inquiry commission, the votes on, the votes on the stimulus were quite interesting.
Now, hold on.
The Republican Party, the legislators, know very well that their own constituents largely favored the stimulus proposals. They themselves largely support them. But
well, I mean, okay, so I would say this. I think that the only reason that this is still happening is because Trump still has a significant hold, because they feel like he's going to be their key to victory, and because I believe maybe, and Darknet has said this before. Darknet, one of our esteemed mods, has said this before. He's gonna run again, probably. It is quite possible that he runs again. So that's the only reason why they're so still attached to Trump. Otherwise, why? Why would they be? Trump has delivered nothing but L's. Trump has delivered nothing but L's to them.
They voted as a bloc uniformly against it. You have to, the highest priority is make the country ungovernable, prevent anything from happening, find a way to get back into power, so we can then worship Trump and go ahead to destroy the world. Trump's climate change policy.
Yeah, I mean, like, but I could formulate that into like the Democratic Party's kind of way too, right? In a way, like we want to make sure that we don't have to do anything, and thus the problems arise, right? I'm comfortable in my position of power. I don't want to do anything. I could say that about the Democratic Party
too. 4 years of that would probably carry us to irreversible tipping points.
I'm not comparing them. I'm just saying. There's just no comparison. Not even close.
The game could very well be over. And if you look at the Republican base, they're caught in this trap, a kind of an echo chamber trap. They hear the Republican leadership, now it's Trump worship. They turn on the Fox News, reiterates it, it's an echo chamber. Listen to Rush Limbaugh when he was alive, he tells them the same thing. Take a look at the attitudes. It's terrifying. So, for example, there was recently a Pew poll, the main polling agency studies public attitudes. They asked people a simple question here. They gave them 15 choices to rank as which were the urgent problems that we have to face. Split between Democrats and Republicans. Among Republicans, the lowest of the 15 was climate change. 14% thought that was a serious problem. The highest problem, greatest problem we face is illegal immigration and the deficit.
What?
The deficit became a problem on November 4th.
What? Thank you for the follow, Das Creed. Wait. The biggest problems facing this country is illegal immigration and the deficit?
Indeed.
Before that, it was
Does
fine.
that make sense?
The line was, Reagan taught us that deficits don't matter. So Trump punched a huge hole in the deficit, that was fine. But November 4th, the Democrats, the deficit is the highest problem we face. And what do we think about illegal immigration? There are problems, but it's nothing remotely like global warming, which is going to destroy organized human life on Earth. But that's 14%, the lowest of all the problems. Well, you put yourself in the position of a Republican voter, you can understand it. You hear Trump, you hear the Republican leadership, you listen to Fox News, they say it's just a liberal hoax, maybe the Chinese are doing it. So what do you want to believe? We're faced with a really serious problem. The Republican Party has just gone off the rails. Even mainstream commentators describe them as a
Right,
radical
that's true.
insurgency that has abandoned parliamentary politics. And you can see it in the actions, particularly since Gingrich, Hastert, McConnell, and so on.
I'm curious, one of the toughest things that I've not even come up with any good ideas on, to be perfectly frank, is how can you do a mass deprogramming, if you consider this a brainwashing that has taken place, that could have any real impact on attitudes? I mean, even a few weeks ago, more than half of the party believes that Donald Trump is the rightful winner. Many believe that he's inevitably going to take back the White House at some point in the next year. I know that individual conversations with people, it can take months of building a relationship before you get someone to re-examine their beliefs. That's not a wholesale strategy. What do you see? Is there a way, I guess is the question, to deal with this at a large scale?
That's
Yes,
a good question.
That's the strategy. And in fact, there's some positive signs. So if you look more closely at the Republican Party, the younger sectors, the millennials, they're coming to be different. It's the older part of the party that's driving towards these highly destructive policies. Among younger people, it's different, and they are reachable. It's hard work, has to be done. Personal conversations, organization, educational programs can have an effect. We can see it ourselves. I mean, take what's the liberal population, quite different from what it was 40 or 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Take the reaction to the George Floyd murder. It's quite remarkable. The largest social movement in American history developed spontaneously. Why? Because there had been years of work to change people's attitudes and consciousness. Black Lives Matter and others, they prepared the ground so that when this vile murder took place, it exploded. You can take the 1619 Project of the New York Times. It couldn't have happened a few years ago. There's a general, steady change in consciousness. See it on many other issues. Take just the recent Israeli destruction of Gaza once again. The reaction was quite different than in the past. For the first time ever, you had correspondents in the mainstream in the New York Times saying, we have to stop military aid to Israel. That would have been inconceivable a couple of years ago. And it's across the board. Take a look at evangelicals. By far the strongest support for Israel. No matter what it does, any crime is okay, except that younger ones are moving away. Recent studies of evangelicals show that younger evangelicals are reassessing their position, rethinking this, and the same on other issues. So the game isn't over. It's hard work, but it can be achieved. It can be achieved by sympathetic understanding of where they are, where they're coming from, finding common ground, moving towards areas which all of us can understand. And nobody wants the world to burn, to become a hothouse Earth in which humans can't survive.
Okay, I mean, absolutely. So I'll say this: when it comes to changing like the Overton window, or just changing people's minds, this literally is the way you do it, right? No one person is going to change necessarily the world, but at least on the individual level, there are things we can do, right? We can have these conversations one-on-one with friends, family. I mean, these things do have an impact. I mean, I understand that just one person isn't going to do everything, but I mean, it still should be done, right? You should still have these difficult conversations, understand where these people are coming from, why they feel or think the way they do, and figure out how to just kind of speak their language to maybe for them to come to your side of the argument, right? Understand that they live here. There are neighbors. There are sometimes family, and in order for you to change their mind, you got to meet them where they're at, and always remember, if you think whatever you think about X person, at the end of the day, they're always a human being first. They're always a human being first, albeit even if in your opinion, even if they're in action, if their actions are horrifying, they may be a horrible human being, but they are a human being. So take that into consideration. And in the times that you can, and in the situations where somebody's coming to you to listen, take that opportunity, right? If somebody's coming to you to listen, because you're not going to reach everybody, but if somebody's willing to listen, I mean, try to understand where they're coming from. Exactly as Chomsky's saying here. Yes, Chomsky is based.
Okay, let's bring the understanding of this to the general population with hard work, the way it's been done on many other issues. It takes feminist issues. You go back to the 1960s, they didn't exist.
Right.
Nothing. Okay, now lots of understanding. So changes can take place. In fact, it's kind of useful to go back to the 60s and see what the country was like then, before the activism of the 60s. I mean, in the 1960s, federal laws required segregation in housing. Blacks could not break into the housing market. Public housing was blocked by federal laws. We had anti-miscegenation laws that were so extreme that the Nazis wouldn't accept them. This is the 1960s.
Yeah.
Okay? All of that is inconceivable today.
Professor, I don't want to keep you too much longer, but I did want to get your thoughts on, some of the debates you participated in over the years with William F. Buckley, with Foucault, and so many others that still are so watched on YouTube and other platforms today. In thinking back to them now, what stands out about them? What do you remember? What seems to you to be notable about them as somebody who participated in them and was there in the room for many of those conversations?
Wait, Chomsky debated Foucault? I need to see this.
Well, they're different. Foucault, serious person. We were talking about real issues. You can have an opinion on them. But with Buckley, it was quite different. My impression of Buckley was that he was just a fraud. I mean, he had a nice style. He spoke as if he knew what he was talking about. As soon as you look at the debate, you can see it. As soon as you get into any particular issue, he quickly changes the subject because he basically doesn't know anything about it. He can try to overwhelm you with his rhetorical style and so on. I thought he was all surface. In fact, you couldn't see it in the debate, but at the end, he was so infuriated that he left the studio screaming at me, saying,
big mad.
I can show you a thing or two or something like that. That wasn't recorded. But my impression of him was that if he just kept calm and quiet and tried to talk about issues, he would collapse.
What was Foucault, or are there others that in thinking back you say, this is someone who challenged me not just rhetorically, but really substantively? This was really where I was the most challenged.
Well, we disagreed on a number of things, but at least we were talking about real issues. I should say that there's a little background to that. Foucault, I don't know any French. Foucault doesn't speak English, but we spent the afternoon together before the debate, just walking around the Dutch countryside, partly just because we wanted to talk to each other informally, but partly to see if we could get by with him talking French and me talking English, or did we need a translator? So we figured we could kind of make it with, and we decided to wing it and do it without a translator, which sort of worked. But I should tell you something else, which didn't show on the television.
Yeah.
Foucault, is totally bald.
Yeah.
The moderator, Fons Elders, is a very interesting person. He was a Dutch anarchist. There was a Dutch anarchist movement at that time, which was doing all sorts of things, like giving LSD to horses at fancy horse shows so that they'd jump all over the place, making fun of them.
What?
On the way to the studio, Fons Elders stopped at his apartment, went upstairs, came down. He had a bright red wig in his hand. And through the whole debate, if you notice closely, he was nudging Foucault and saying, put it on, put it on.
That is an incredible detail. That is something else. Well, listen, Professor Noam Chomsky, I so appreciate your time today and the fact that we were able to do this and to put it together. Really, thank you so much for your time. I so appreciate having you on.
Thank you.
Wait, before you scroll.
Nice. And we did it, folks. We got through it. That was excellent. I do want to see that debate between Chomsky and Foucault. That might increase my knowledge. That might increase my politics knowledge and my theory knowledge. So I'm definitely interested. I wonder if it's on YouTube. Let's check it out, actually. Yes. Huh. Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Is het geloof ik goed dat er een stuk theorie aan vooraf gaat. Want in een discussie over filosofie, discussie namelijk tussen...
In case anybody's interested. I believe this is it. Is this it, folks? Here.
Twee filosofen, twee onderzoekers, wier werk zich kenmerkt door een grote precisie, een grote gedetailleerdheid en ook een grote helderheid. En verder vond ik het wel symbolisch dat het plaatsvond in een ruimte met veel glas. Binnen- en buitenwereld liepen door elkaar. Tijdens de uitzending zag je het verkeer buiten rijden. Symbolisch inderdaad, omdat de relatie tussen binnen- en buitenwereld voorop staat in het eerste stuk van het 4e filosofendebat over menselijke natuur en ideale maatschappij.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is it, right? That's the one. Okay, I'm gonna save this. Excellent. Alright, we're gonna check this out. Cool. So yeah, I posted the link in chat so you guys can check that out. Folks, it is 11:25. I do have to get going. I appreciate each and every one of you guys hanging out here. You guys are what makes this channel grow. I appreciate all of your support. Thank you so much for all the new follows. Das Creed, Big Head Sam, I appreciate that. And if you enjoyed the channel, make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the YouTubes. Do all the YouTube stuff. It really does help us out. And of course, spread the word far and wide. Then this is the chillest place to be for news and politics in the morning, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Thursday. We do have Saturday Catterdays. About noon. So check that out. Follow us. Do all the awesome stuff. Spread the word. Tell everybody and anybody that this is the chillest place to be. Thank you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. Join the Discord if you want to keep the conversation going offline. I appreciate you guys. Please stay safe. Take care of each other. I love y'all, and I hope to see you guys in the next stream. See ya. Oh, ooh, last second tier 1 sub to Big Head Sam. Thank you so much for the gifted sub. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. You have a good day. See ya. Thank you, guys. Oh, man. Thank you so much. No, thank you, guys. Thank you, Heat. I appreciate that. By the way, also follow Heat420. Follow Alio. Follow Surfer Girl Gritty. All of these wonderful people. Alright. We are heading over to Ben's channel. Please show them lots of love. Ben is a great guy, so let's show him lots of love. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.